Shows how the whole of our world in the last few hundred years has kind of swung away, and we've learned a lot and we've gained a lot, but we've lost so much. And it seems that climate change is, as well as being a terrible hardship for people, I don't want to minimize that, is an opportunity to regain the best of both worlds, perhaps, or what we were about to lose.
Absolutely. I mean, our really strong view is that girls and young women can be absolutely part of the solution. Who are the homemakers? It's women. Who are the people who actually are there in many parts of the world gathering the water, gathering the food? Who is it that are there in the communities really bonding those things together, teaching children from the youngest age how to live? It's the women and it's the girls. So they're absolutely part of the solution, and if you invest in the girls and invest in their future, it multiplies way more through the community. And there's a lot of research to back up investing in girls and young women just has much more multiplier effect than investing in other ways.
There's some more questions coming in, I think, from outside.
Yeah, I'll just pass on a comment that's coming from Kimberly Crofts in London. She says it's great to hear that the Girl Guides are so committed to solving the climate change problem. So I thought I'd pass on the good news. But also, we had a speaker on a day or so ago who was talking about young children and climate change. And Anurada's probably in a better position to discuss the details because it was her that interviewed him. But he seemed to be saying that actually young people who lead low-carbon lifestyles actually benefit from it in a really substantial sense personally and in terms of their health. Is that right?
Exactly, and he was talking about, for example, children who were taught from an early age to be fed on schedule rather than in empathy with the mother, in a sort of mother-child diet. Learn then to eat not when they're hungry, but when through external cues rather than internal cues, and then that leads to problems like obesity and the kind of commercialization of food and when you eat, and that leads to all kinds of other diseases and so on. And so it was really interesting that the role of the baby, if you look after the baby correctly in this more connected way, that has a huge bearing on what happens to the world, both in terms of the child, him or herself, but also in terms of the load that child demands on the world. And therefore, again, the girl who becomes the mother is so vital. And during the course of the last few days, we are learning more and more about these ripple effects.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm amazed. I can go and spend some time with some 5-year-olds, and you think, what does a 5-year-old know about climate change? They know a lot. They're very aware and very alert. And if I say, well, what can you do differently? Either they can very quickly tell you 3 or 4 things that they should do differently. I should ride my bike more. I should when I go shopping with Mum, we should buy organic as opposed to others. I've learnt that I shouldn't leave the tap on when I clean my teeth. It might sound really simple, but if they're already thinking that way and already responding to their environment that way, if they do it from that age, it will be with them for life. And I guess that's why we are so firmly committed to how we can educate girls and that they can actually take action and they can make a difference. And I think we shouldn't underestimate that. And I often come away from those conversations learning a lot from them. And I think if we did a whole lot more listening to girls and to young people, and rather than telling them what they should be doing, I think we would just, as a community, as a culture, just learn so much.
One other thing is, I'm aware that you work in or you come from Australia, is that right, or both? Now, in southern Australia, there's a huge drought problem, and the rivers are drying up. The Murray River is has a third of the capacity it used to. This is terrifying, and surely this must bring it home to people. And yet we also hear that in Australia there's a huge amount of skepticism that climate change has anything to do with people. Can you tell us something more about that?
It amazes me. We are in a country that is a dry continent. It's big, and our natural environment is so magnificent. It is just so beautiful. We are in one of the luckiest places in the world, and yet people don't value that. And I mean, even in my lifetime, I've noticed. I used to live in the country areas on farming, and the changes there are phenomenal. And So anyone who's in Australia who can't see the impact, I just can't believe it. And there's been a lot of political debate in our country in the past few weeks about it. And I guess what I end up saying to people is there's absolutely change. You know, there is change in our environment. Whether you believe it's man-made or how much is man-made, it almost doesn't matter. We've got the opportunity to do something about it. And whatever the reason is for it, we've still got to do something about it. And so why not just make things happen? We are living beyond our means. We've got to change our behaviour.
I just wanted to follow on from that, really. You're saying that, as Anuradha mentions, it's still a very contentious issue for lots of people, and for an organisation like the Guides and Scouts, when you phrase it in the way that you do, you know, we've always posed ourselves as a solution to the problem, it seems very obvious that you should get involved in this and be encouraging young people to engage with the issue of climate change. But as an organisation, has it been actually quite a difficult thing to engage with politically in terms of maybe your members or internally?
Actually, surprisingly not.
Oh, that's really good to hear, because I was quite afraid of that too.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we've always dealt with the issues of the day that matter, and you know, that's our history for 100 years. And while we might have a stereotype as being a bit conservative, in fact, we've been at the forefront of many things for a very long time. From our beginnings, you know, it was the young women who stood up and said, we want an organisation for ourselves. This is Victorian England in 1910, when women didn't do that. You know, following the Second World War, it was Guides and Scouts, Girl Guides and Girl Scouts, who went on the ground into post-Second World War Europe and did reconstruction for years. After the genocide in Rwanda, it was Girl Guides who went in and started a lot of the peacemaking, and this is girls. So it's after the tsunami, we went in there in Sri Lanka and other places and did a lot of the post-tsunami reconstruction.
So why do you think the Girl Guides have this reputation or this kind of stereotype? Why?
I don't know why, because as soon as people get to know us, and particularly our focus now on the Millennium Development Goals and really responding to what our girls want us to be responding to, they're amazed and they just want to be part of it, because they can see that we're an organisation that is big, it's dynamic, it's moving forward, it's credible, and it delivers. You know, what we do makes a difference, and we're passionate about it, obviously.
Well, I hope that your members will watch this and will also realise that OneClimate is not just about a live stream. It's also a social networking site. It's a climate Facebook. So please use it. All the tools are there. All the tools are free. Please take whatever you wish and use them and pass them on to the other guiders, because you know, the more OneClimate is based on the philosophy share and share and share. Share your tools, share your knowledge, so that you can all learn from each other and make change fast, because there is no time to lose now. So we've just got about a couple of minutes more, Linden. So another question has come in, I think.
Yeah, just another question from Twitter, actually. A girl asking about this membership. It sounds absolutely fantastic, the number of people around the world who are part of the Guides. She's asking, are there many kind of Indigenous girls in Australia who are part of the guiding movement, and in other countries as well? What's the kind of mix from the membership?
Oh, that might also explain some of the anxiety that it might be more conservative than inclusive.
Yeah. In fact, our fastest growing organisations globally are organisations in developing countries. So countries like Kenya, lots of the countries in Latin America, Central America, that's where we're growing most strongly, parts of Asia, because I think girls see the relevance. They're really wanting to be part of something. And I think as families break down, as they have less connections, as there's so much about our world about the individual, girls are looking for a way to be connected and for a way to be positive. And in fact, so our membership in that part of the world is growing hugely. And that really is optimistic for us. And our challenge is resourcing that. We're an organisation that is based on membership funding, and we just need more resources, more support to be able to do more of this in more places around the world.
Support all these girls who want to get out there and do something. Well, thank you so much, Lynn. It's been really, really fascinating, and I'll remember that all my being a very enthusiastic but not very skilled girl guider was probably something that may be one of the seeds that ended up turning into OneClimate many years later. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.